and grow our freedom. That's it. My goal. My goal with this program isn't just to be out there talking and spewing stuff. My goal is to get people to think logically. And speaking of logically, here's a story from WND. Sex. Now, when I saw this headline, I'm thinking, no, this is like an Onion story, right? No, it's not. It's not comedy, not dramedy. It's real news. Sex with lobbyists could be classified as gift to lawmakers. Basically, going to bed with special interest has everyone suddenly looking under their sheets is the subtitle. Yes. Legislation sponsored by Republican state representative in Missouri, the Show Me State. That's their state motto, the Show Me State. Is that a gift? Would that be construed as a gift too? If they, because hey, you got to show people. I'm not going there. Sorry. Legislation sponsored by Republican state Senate or state representative of Missouri, Bart Corman, would require lobbyists to report any sexual encounter with a member of the legislature as a gift with the state ethics commission. Corman said recent indiscretions in the Show Me State prompted his effort to clean up the system. So, can you imagine this on a national? Hey, Bill, that would put Bill out of business, wouldn't it? If I get a story here about Bill too. Thousands of women, I guess. I don't. Somebody accusing him of being like a Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt is still he's a former basketball star, Hall of Famer. What is that? I think he's the only. He was the first professional basketball player to score 100 points or more in a game. Wilt is still arguably one of the greatest centers in the game of basketball. Claimed at one time, that he had slept with or had been with more than 10,000 women. I don't know how you keep track of that. That's what he claims. So now you got somebody out there saying that Bill's thousands of women. So he's had 1,000 or 2,000. I don't know how you. It's only a couple of years. Only like 3 or 4 years worth. If you have a different woman every night, it's only about 3 or 4 years worth, I guess. If you do more than one at a time, too, sometimes. But in any case, this guy in Missouri, how I understand they pronounce Missouri. It's not Missouri. There's no A at the end. It's an I. But Missouri. I hope I pronounced that right from those people out in Missouri. If I mispronounced it, give me a call and correct me, because I try to pronounce things correctly. Kind of like here in New England and Massachusetts, I do try to say Worcester, and I do try to say Peabody instead of Peabody. I do try to say Leominster instead of Leominster. Is what it is. Now, last year in Missouri, 2 sex scandals involving lawmakers and interns rocked Jefferson City. I don't live in Missouri, so I didn't know about these intern via lawmaker scandals, kind of like Clinton in the presidency. What is, look, I know that most of the time it's a male lawmaker with a female intern. Now understand that is not only scenario. Now I have not heard of any female lawmaker with a male. I suppose it could happen. I just haven't heard of it. But it can happen because oftentimes it's a female public school teacher with her male student that gets caught. Male lawmaker, male intern, that could possibly happen. I just haven't heard of it happening, but it could. May have. But I know it's usually male lawmaker, female intern. And on some occasions, we're finding out, well, it's happening a little bit more often than we thought it probably happened. Male lawmaker, male intern. We got a lot of closeted lawmakers on both sides of the political aisle, by the way. Liberals out there to say, oh, yeah, Republicans are just, they're closeted and they're hypocritical. No, they're not. Look, you can't tell me that you can't go out to Hollywood and find a bunch of liberal male movie stars who are denying that they're homosexual. Whatever. I don't really care. Doing the sheets. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. None of my business. You want to get freaky between the sheets? That's both consenting adults. That's fine. Go for it. But if you're trading sex for political favor, well, I think that's kind of a form of corruption on both the lawmaker and the lobbyist. But I don't know how you get somebody, a lobbyist, to keep something hidden that they don't want to come forward with. Because if it's a gift, are they going to have to pay something for that? I mean, how do you can't donate, because, a lot of lawmakers, they may get a gift and they donate it to from an agency. Donate I'm just trying to figure this out. I mean, look, I'm not disparaging Republican State Representative Bart Corman out of Missouri, but I'm trying to understand how far this can possibly go. Do we really need to do that? And if we do, why? Have we ever stopped to think about why some people think we have to have some of these onerous laws? I mean, really, it's kind of an invasion of privacy. I know that I hear the other side of the argument talking about, well, state secrets involved or national secrets involved. There's, playing favors, buying influence and everything, or with sex instead of money in this particular case. I get all those arguments, but isn't it incumbent on the electorate that when they find out that somebody is misbehaving in the elected position, that during the next election, they fire that individual? Why is it we keep electing the same criminals over and over again? So is this a lame attempt to try to ring in the corruption that is rampant all over the country as far as political office is concerned? Now, again, last year, 2 sex scandals involving lawmakers and interns rocked Jefferson City. In May, Republican State House Speaker John Deal stepped down after sexually charged texts with an intern were discovered. 2 months later, Democratic State Senator Paul Lavoda resigned in response to allegation he sexually harassed 2 interns. Now, these are, there's no sex, obviously, involved here. It's just harassment. What was that? The famous New York case, Weiner. Congressman Weiner was in the Huma Abedin's husband, by the way. That's who Uma. So it's actually Uma Weiner, and we're. So actually, the Wieners are kind of back in the public eye. They were right next to Hillary Clinton. Well, I guess you could say that they were 2 women that had something in common. Uma had her husband, Congressman Weiner, and Hillary had her husband, Governor, and then President Bill. If they report this kind of stuff as a gift, does that mean that these guys are less likely to get reelected, or does it mean that if it has to be reported as a gift, that they're going to do? Is that? I think that's the goal, is to get people to do activity, but is it really? What's going to happen to people who don't report it? Is it really a gift? It's sex and power. Go hand sex, power, money. Triumvirate. They go hand in hand in hand. If you got power, you can get money and you can get sex. Money, you can get power and you can get sex. If you are good enough in one form or another with the sex, you can get power and money. Hey, just ask prostitutes, male and female. Person. Oh boy. I think that's what this legislation is trying to do, is trying to kill some of that illicit activity. If we're going to try to clean up our state capitals and our national capital, maybe we need to start putting some onerous rules and regulations and laws on our lawmakers, just as they're doing to us. Maybe we need to really reverse it and put it on them instead, so they behave themselves. Because I guarantee, if you make it very stringent for these people to be in power, they're not going to want to stay there because they're going to be too restricted. Isn't it funny how that works? If you restrict somebody too much, they're not going to want to do that thing that's restricting them. So if you restrict them and say, you've got to walk on this edge of this knife, because if you slide off one way or the other, you are going to get cut. You're going to get cut deep, and you're possibly going to get thrown out of public office where you can never run again. And maybe if you did something what we now construed to be criminal, you're going to, look, why not? Why not take something that's legal and nobody's business and turn it against our lawmakers who do that to us, we the public, we the people, all the time? They take law-abiding citizens and turn them into criminals. So why don't we take these so-called law-abiding lawmakers and turn them into criminals? I think that's fair. Anybody else think that's not fair? Well, I mean, yeah, well, you're going to have lawmakers that are going to think it's, but I think it's fully fair. If you're going to do that kind of stuff, I think it's really, really, really fair. Because you're putting us under the microscope. Fair to put you, our political leaders, under. Speaking of microscope, now this is something that really kind of irks me. You know, the American people, through taxes, we help fund, not 100%, but we do fund a significant portion of PBS TV and PBS broadcasting, public broadcasting system, and radio. Subsidize them a lot. And the thing is that some of the programming that they have, especially on TV, are some of the biggest programs on TV. Sesame Street. Sesame Street is about to make the leap to HBO. And going mainstream. Well, I know Sesame Street's already all over the place. You know, Toys R Us. On the toy aisle of just about any place that sells toys, and there's Sesame Street all over the place. Now they're going, you know, there was a Sesame Street movie. Sesame Street and This Old House, I happen to love This Old House, but This Old House is financially huge. They could contribute and support PBS. But I think it's actually the other way around. PBS actually has to pay them in order to have their programs on PBS. And we put that bill. Now, how is that fair? Especially when you start talking about big corporate America, man, is screwing the American people, and they're not paying their fair share. Well, neither Sesame Street.